Hello, Maddie here. Welcome back to another week, another book, this time two books. We are talking about two novellas, short stories that are Cinderella themed because we love a good Cinderella retelling. That's what we're talking about because they're great and awesome. We love it. First, I want to talk about Dance of Hearts by Byrd Nash. Here's our little synopsis. In Regency, England, 1816, it is not fashionable to display fairy blood. Melinda Witchwood managed to stay at her family home after her father's death by working as her cousin's unpaid housekeeper. But when a childhood friend returns, playing a game of deception, will she be satisfied acting as the dowdy chaperone? Or will her wild fairy heritage and a magical dress finally win her true happiness? A Cinderella retelling as a historical romance with a touch of fairy tale magic and a happily ever after ending. Dance of Hearts is a quick read short story romance that is clean and sweet, perfect for fans of Georgette Heyer's Regency romances, but who want a dash of fairy magic with their tea and cake. Honestly, not a bad synopsis. Sometimes sometimes they don't do a very good job of actually giving you much insight into the book. To be fair, a Cinderella retelling doesn't need a great synopsis because we all know the story of Cinderella, but this one does a pretty good job, and it's cute, fun. It stays true to that, but it's a good Regency one. I didn't realize till literally right now, even though I reread my blogs before I do these videos, so that way I'm not just totally word vomiting my blogs a second time. The goal of these videos is not to be just a different format for the exact same words. I like to try to put in different thoughts. So I like to reread my blog, so I'm not giving you two of the same thing. And I reread this blog literally today, and it did not occur to me till right now that they are both Cinderella retellings. They're both Regency era Cinderella retelling. But those are two things I love, because not only do I love like fairy tale retellings, but Regency era is such a good era for romance novels. Part of it is like that, like a touch of the hand is like so sweet. When literally today we were talking with one of our friends about how, so my love language is physical touch. And I was like, it's not that I need like people to be come up and like touching me and stuff, but like I love hugging people and I love holding people's hands, specific people like family and really good friends and things like that. But because physical touch is my love language, I had to learn. I was really bad, especially more in college, not so much in high school, but I had a really bad problem of if like a boyfriend wasn't holding my hand or like touching my arm, had his arm around my waist and that, I thought he was like mad at me or upset with me because I hadn't yet connected in my head that physical touch was my love language. And if they weren't touching me in some way, I thought something was wrong because for me, I always wanted to be like, yeah, stroking their arm, have my arm around them, be sitting next to them so that we were touching arms, like things like that. I hadn't yet connected those things. And after our first date, Evan didn't kiss me because he had a rule of not kissing on a first date, which is not a bad rule. But I literally went inside and I was like, he doesn't like me. He doesn't like me. Like, he didn't kiss me. He doesn't like me. When obviously that is not true. He liked me. He didn't love me yet. I knew he would eventually. He does now. I had definitely a very misconstrued idea of like love and displays of affection, things like that. And it's just funny because I literally remember going up to my bedroom and being like, oh, I really, really like him. And he just doesn't like me because he didn't kiss me. And then we kissed, a few weeks later at my formal, and it was perfect and it was great. But it's just really funny looking back on it and going to like the Regency era where it's like, yeah, no, you didn't kiss till you were like married. I know in like some movies and some books, they like to act like you did. You didn't. Nothing happened until you were married. And even after you were married, you didn't do any of those things like in public, like at all. And so I think that's partially why I like Regency is that there are very set rules of how you acted with the person that you're interested in. And so that gets rid of a lot of like miscommunications. Nowadays, it's like you can do lots of things with lots of people and it's like totally fine. You're not interested in them, but Regency era would be like, oh, you're in love with them. You want to be with them. And it's like, no, I'm just being like a person in the 21st century. But I like the set rules of particularly romantic engagement and romantic communication, interaction. It's very set rules. So it's really easy to be like romantic, not romantic, which is the scene trying to be. And I really like that. So it's not shocking that I picked two Regency era Cinderella retellings. Dance of Hearts, Byrd Nash, super cute, super good. So the things I love about it, besides what I feel like is the obvious, is it's got the childhood romance trope that I love. There is some deception that I'm not a big fan of. but you kind of need to have that to get the Cinderella part of it. Because if she knew everything that was going on, it wouldn't be, I would say, a true Cinderella story. But I don't love the deception. It's not my favorite, but it all works out okay. And because it's such a short book, you get there super fast. So we will let it slide for this book. Now, book number two, called Darcy Cinderella by Bella Breen. She has like a whole collection of Pride and Prejudice themed novellas. I have not read any of them except for this one, but I definitely keep them in the back of my mind as like things to come back to. But Darcy Cinderella, Bella Breen, here is our synopsis. Is Mr. Darcy too late? While Mr. Darcy rushes to London to help Lydia avoid ruination, the unexpected death of their father throws Elizabeth Bennet's future into doubt. Elizabeth accepts the first position as a governess that she can find, with the Countess of Bremont and her ward, Madeline. The Countess is crueler than she could have imagined, and Elizabeth finds herself a virtual prisoner alongside Madeline. Elizabeth must devise a plan to free herself and her young friend from the Countess's schemes. Mr. Darcy searches for Elizabeth with the only information he has, her name and her position. Will he find Elizabeth before the Countess separates them forever? Love Unmasked is a Cinderella story of 50,000 words that features second chances, masquerade balls, a lost love, forbidden love, women in peril, and a happy reunion. That's the twist on this book, is that Mr. Bennet dies before Darcy and Bingley have a chance to get to Jane and Elizabeth. And so the Jane Bingley part gets resolved pretty easily, pretty quickly. But the Elizabeth Darcy part has trials and tribulations to it that end up leading to a Cinderella-esque. I know it's not quite the same. Okay, so it's not quite the same in that it's not Cinderella. Like they see each other across the room and like fall in love. They obviously know who the person is, but you have the like masquerade part of it where it's like they're trying to figure out identities and like make sure they're talking to the right person about the right thing and make it all work. So, but it's really cute. And I say this on my blog and it's true and good and whatever. If you need like a little bit more Lizzie and Darcy, if you get to the end of Pride and Prejudice, whether it be the book or the movie, the BBC, whatever, and you just need like a little bit more, this book is perfect for that. You get a little bit more of that world. You get your characters for a little bit longer. The story obviously is slightly different because you have Mr. Bennet dying, but besides from that, everything else is the same in terms of how it ends. Everybody ends up together. Everything ends up happy. Got the Maddie guarantee. My disclaimer is that not being from the Regency era herself, Bella Breen definitely takes some liberties, and while not like super blatant, they would never do this in the Regency era. There's definitely things that you're like, that's semi-questionable. They might have done that like a couple decades later. So not like, modern day things, but like that's probably a few decades in the future and that wouldn't have happened quite yet. So that's one of the things to be aware of is I would say it does not strictly follow Regency era rules. It does for the most part. Like I was talking about with Dance of Hearts, it still follows it enough that you're not getting these weird interactions that you're like, that would have never happened in that time. Or like, I don't know what that means. But more just like, I would say the women are a little bit more modernized in like what they can do and how they can act. But like the romance part of it, I would say it's still pretty Regency era. I think they might kiss, but that's okay. We will forgive it because most versions of Pride and Prejudice, they have them kissing before they would have. But that's okay. So those are kind of my disclaimers. Is like, one, it's great if you're wanting more Pride and Prejudice. Two, it's not strict Regency era decorum things to be aware of. But both of these books are super cute. They're super quick, light reads. I know I talk a lot about like, oh, this is a super short book. These are actually like they're novellas. They are short stories. They are things you can read in like an hour. They're very short, but still actually good quality. Like actually good stories, good characters. They are something you can get through that quick that actually has substance and value to it. Because I know a lot of things that you can read that quickly don't have a whole lot of substance and value. Most things that short don't have substance. Very few things that short have genuine value. These books have both of them. And I highly recommend them. They are so cute. They're so good. You got your Cinderella retellings. You got your Regency era romance. And one of them is a Pride and Prejudice novella. If those are things you're interested in, you should totally read these books. They're very, very good. Highly, highly recommend. I've reread them a couple of times each just to kind of get those quick, good, fun romance stories. We're trying to get better. Like, comment, and subscribe on this video of things that you liked, things you'd like to see. I am getting nearer and nearer to having a video for all of my blogs. I still have, a good chunk, but my life is slowing down finally, even though we're about to go into the holidays or are in the midst of the holidays when this video comes out, in general, my life has slowed down significantly. We got through it, and life is okay again. So I'm actually looking more into writing more blogs to have videos to go with those blogs, because I've read a lot of books since I stopped posting regularly on my blog, and so I have a lot of books I want to talk about that don't have their own blogs, but I haven't had the bandwidth to both write a blog and do a video, and now I have the bandwidth to do that. So I'm really, really excited about some of the books I'm going to be putting out hopefully here in the new year that are going to have, they're going to have all new blogs, all new videos about books that I've never talked about before. I'm really, really excited about it. So hopefully y'all are too. So if you have any suggestions, please leave them down below. I would love, love, love some suggestions. So with all that, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hope you have a great night, great week, great weekend, great month, great year. Hope you have all the greats because you're truly worthy and deserving of them. So until next time, 再见.